Hello and welcome to this top tip session on finding graduate employment. My name is Gillian Bain and I'm GCAS Graduate Engagement Manager. In today's session we'll be looking at what are graduate jobs. We'll be considering who are the top level employment sectors. We'll be thinking about recruitment processes. We'll spend some time thinking about where to find graduate jobs, and I'll signpost further support. The focus of the session is to help you understand your graduate job options. It's important to understand the diverse nature of the graduate job market. It's not just about big corporates with high visibility, which recruit hundreds of graduates. There are plenty of other options for you to explore. We'll also explore how to improve your chances of success, take stock, and think about what you do to move forward. Lots of factors determine and influence career choice. It's worth identifying your own priorities before you begin any application process. So, when you envisage yourself working in a professional role or environment, what do you see? What is it that matters to you? So, where are you working? Your location. What does that workplace look like? Who else is there? What tasks might you expect to enjoy performing? Do you have job security? What are you earning? How much free time will you have? Will you need to do additional study or professional qualifications? Is this role a step ladder or a longer term undertaking, i.e., gaining more experience or testing out ideas? What are your non-negotiables and where are you prepared to compromise? Are you seeking career fulfillment and will that outweigh other considerations? How are you going to find the balance between a high salary and your work-life balance? And as I said, are you getting your foot on the career ladder or are you biding your time? Let's just take a moment to think, what does a graduate job mean to you? There are a few things that you might want to consider. So graduate jobs are commonly understood as those offering structured training and clear progression, but this isn't always the case. In reality, the definition of a graduate job is really diverse. So we can have large employers who have the highest visibility at graduate fairs or university-led events, but this is really only a part of the graduate labour market. Many graduates join small to medium-sized enterprises and/or startups. And graduates take different routes depending on factors including the sector and the type of role. There are things like graduate training schemes. These are often rotational programmes with structured training. And also jobs for graduates which are not part of a formal training scheme, so things that other professionals can apply to. There are entry-level jobs which graduates can use as stepping stones to graduate or more advanced roles. There's been a growth in the number of graduate internships, for example in business and finance, which also offer this opportunity. There are also now some graduate level apprenticeships offering training in different areas. Roles which require a degree but are not classified as graduate jobs are quite common, particularly in things like cultural or heritage sectors and the creative industries. When it comes to considering what's the best role for you, it's worth bearing in mind that you're likely to be suited to a range of roles or sectors. Notions about ideal or dream jobs can be a helpful starting point, but rather than letting these ideas become career limiting, you can use those ideas to inspire further exploration of similar types of work, strengths you'd like to use day to day and tasks that you enjoy completing. Most employers, or at least 80% according to the Institute of Student Employers, will take graduates of any degree discipline. They're really looking for your motivation and potential, and for the evidence that you have the skills and the mindsets that they are looking for. So remember, the best graduate job is actually the one which best fits your values, your ethos, your likes and your interests. And that you are the expert in what that might be. It can be helpful to consider the different employment sectors. So the private sector is the sort of a commercial sector with businesses of all types and sizes across all industry sectors. So finance, technology, engineering, construction, life science, pharmaceuticals, consumer goods, retail, media, entertainment, sport, the list goes on and on. You've then got public sector, which includes central government, local government, the NHS, police, military, state schools and universities. And then third sector. So this includes charities, voluntary organisation and social enterprises, or non-profit organisations which are not centrally funded. So the sector, the industry or even the organisation though does not equal a job role. So you could be an accountant, you could work in HR or marketing or IT in any of those three sectors. So what are your options after graduation and where you are now? So there are different opportunities. So the most visible option that you'll be aware of, I'm sure, is a graduate scheme with a large commercial firm. And they often have high numbers of vacancies. These are often advertised early in the academic year, so around about September, October time. And sometimes you can feel like if you didn't make that graduate scheme that you can't work for that organisation, but that really isn't the case. It is entirely possible to get an entry-level role and work your way up. Also, if you missed the graduate scheme sort of recruitment process, or you've applied in the past and have been unsuccessful, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't apply again in the following year. The Federation of Small Business calculated that SMEs actually represent 99% of all private sector businesses in the UK and provide 61% of private sector employment. The public sector is a major employer of graduates and it's the biggest employer in Scotland. The University of Edinburgh is the third largest employer in Edinburgh after the NHS and the Edinburgh City Council. So this equates to lots of potential opportunities. The not-for-profit or third sector schemes often don't have what we would recognise as recruitment schemes. The sector is really very diverse. It's important to remember that different sectors have different recruitment cycles. So just bear that in mind when you're thinking about what comes next. Of course, you might want to go into self-employment and be an entrepreneur. Or lastly, you might want to consider further study, so a postgraduate course or something more vocational, like postgraduate diploma in education, law or social work. So there are a wide range of graduate schemes on offer every year, and the screen illustrates some of what's available. Typical graduate employers with structured graduate training schemes aren't restricted to these. And graduate schemes are very popular and are often very competitive and generally have very lengthy and rigorous selection processes. So just bear that in mind when you're thinking about what you'd like to apply for. But there are other places to find graduate vacancies, and there's some examples listed on this slide. So for example, Prospects and Target Jobs, they're two of the biggest UK graduate sites. You can sign up for job alerts, and they also offer lots of other helpful advice on career planning, CVs, interviews, etc., and helpful sector insights. GradCracker is a specialist STEM site, and again, you can follow employers and take advantage of employer webinars. eFinancial Careers covers all areas in finance, including asset management, private equity, venture capital, investment banking, mergers and acquisitions, and it contains a lot of jobs and sector information. Inside Careers offers a portfolio of industry-specific job boards and information, including pensions, insurance, accountancy, actuarial and intellectual property. And Milkround is another large graduate jobs board, and they tend to advertise lots of immediate vacancies. So that might be really useful to those of you in GCAS. It's helpful to have a scan through what's being advertised already, check the closing dates for applications, and just get a sense of the type of roles that are out there. For those of you extending your job search looking for immediate vacancies, there are some other ways of doing that. So you could have a look at particular journals and professional associations. So we've got some listed here: New Scientist, Nature Careers. There's also the more generalist job boards, so LinkedIn, Indeed, Total Jobs. But there's also much more specialist sector job boards, things like Just Engineers. A really good way of finding out where you can look for particular vacancies in a particular sector or industry is to use the Prospects job sectors pages, because they signpost particular vacancy pubs and vacancy boards where specific roles and role types are advertised. Search widely. So not all vacancies are advertised widely or where you'd expect. So again, as I've signposted already, what can I do with my degree on the Prospects website is a good place to start. Browsing journals, magazine and blogs can often generate interest and show you where their vacancies might be arising. Using membership lists of professional bodies and associations to identify potential employers through industry directories is another good way of identifying employers in a particular sector that you're interested in working in. Use and extend your network using LinkedIn. So again, you can do a search by degree type, or you could do a search by university and start to identify people who maybe graduated from your university with your degree and see where they've gone on to, and see if there's a way of connecting with them and perhaps exploring some ideas. Check job listings on social media sites, so LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and sign up for job alerts to highlight opportunities that you would otherwise miss. And remember, it's the quality of your application, not the quantity, that's going to count. Tapping into the hidden job market, and this is going to be really key. So not all vacancies are advertised. And as you can see in this picture, there's a lot of vacancies that are what we would say hidden into the job market. They are filled by means other than standard advertising and recruitment. And so a proactive approach can be very rewarding. Expand your network of contacts to uncover possibilities through LinkedIn and through other channels. As we said already, identify organisations or companies that are of particular interest, and then make a speculative application. That's going to be particularly valuable and important with SMEs. There's some guidance on how to do a speculative approach and how to write a speculative letter on the GCAS website. And again, focus on the quality of your application, not the quantity. So particularly when you're doing a speculative approach, you really want to tell that employer, that future employer, why you're particularly interested in working for them. What is it about their organisation, their company, their values or culture that is particularly attractive to you as a candidate? So a quick word on visas. So international students who are in the UK on a student visa and who are keen to work in the UK, you really do need to understand the system. And it might be that you have to educate recruiters. So please do have a look at the UK Council for International Student Affairs for advice where needed. Please note that GCAS cannot legally offer any advice on visas. Finally, use the career support tools via GCAS. So on the GCAS website, you do have access to a wide range of resources. So there are resources and sessions, particularly around CVs, cover letters, speculative approaches, etc. on the GCAS website. You can also, through GCAS, connect with the University of Edinburgh, the University of Aberdeen and Glasgow Caledonian University Career Service resources, and I'd particularly point out Discover What's Out There. And lastly, there's great resources on Prospects UK. If you would like more personalised support about finding graduate employment, you can of course contact the GCAS team directly at gcas@ed.ac.uk. So to summarise, define your own priorities. What are your non-negotiables? The best graduate job is one that aligns to your values and aspirations. So think about what's important to you. Think about which sector you want to work in: public, private, or third sector. Start to consider where you're going to find those graduate level vacancies. Is it going to be through a traditional graduate scheme, or is it going to be a graduate job with a small to medium sized enterprise, or perhaps something in the creative industries? Search widely using all of the websites and information available. Tap into the hidden job market and think really carefully about sending speculative approaches to employers that you're particularly keen to work for. And finally, use the career support tools via the GCAS website. Lastly, if you do have any questions, please do contact us at gcas@ed.ac.uk. Thank you.